This is Rockslapping Champions. Player 1, playing Stukov, we have Evelyn. And player 2, playing Han Horner, we have Dana. So let's have a look at the masteries while the players get set up. We have Stukov, who is a non-mastery commander. I believe he is level 6 when I saw the loading screen. I think he was level 6. So he doesn't even have his Alexander out, so that is going to be a bit of an issue, because Alexander is a really good ability. Han Horner has gone for the Strike Fire AoE damage, he's gone for the significant other bonuses, and he's gone for the Mag Mines. The only thing I could say here is the Mag Mines, you know, it might be better to put a little bit of a split into the air fleet, because getting 30 points of the Mag Mine is actually really difficult to use. They respawn really quickly. If you are aggressively playing with the Mag Mines, it might even be a good choice here. So we can see that Stukov has already decided to do the fast expand strategy, or at least the optimal expand for Terran commanders. Usually when you're playing a Terran commander, you want to send an SCV at the start of the game and start pre-building your command center on this side, so that by the time you have an army out and you're ready to expand, you don't have to really waste any time in building a command center and getting your economy up and running. So that is really good play here for Stukov. Han Horner is already putting down a bunch of assault galleons, so that'll provide them with a little bit of an army to be able to deal with the first initial attack waves and also start clearing out the expansion. See, we have a bunch of mag mines that are being dropped on this side, which is an interesting choice because the first attack wave usually spawns from here. Now, once in a while, the attack wave will actually move down towards the expansion, but I believe this happens after you have cleared out and you have taken the expansion on this side. I'm not really sure what causes it, someone can let me know in the comments, but I think it happens when you have cleared out both these bases and you have taken your expansion on this side. I'm assuming if Amon doesn't have vision of these bases over here, so everything must be cleared out if you want that attack wave to end up attacking the expansion instead. But more often than not, the attack wave will move up towards this side, and now the first Lava Surge is on the way, and then we have a Stukov infested colonist compound on this side as well that will be taking the brunt of this attack wave. So overall, seems to be all okay. Han Horner is still producing 2 more assault galleons. They're going to be maxing out on those assault galleons very quickly. Those mag mines, as I said, are not in position to deal with this first attack wave, and I don't think Han Horner has actually put down any mag mines on here. These mag mines are going to be very useful for dealing with the attack wave because they push up the ramp. You can put a mag mine set like this on this side. As you can see here, the attack wave is completely bypassing that because, as you can guess, it is an air composition. Because you know what? Why would we not like air Terran composition? So we can see here on Vikings over here, and that is what is going to make this mission really nasty because air Terran is not very easy to deal with for pretty much any commander that starts off with a very weak early game. And specifically speaking, Stukov is not very good at level 6 for dealing with air Terran, and Han Horner in general is again not very useful for dealing with air Terran. Han Horner relies on their call-downs to deal with the attack waves because these attack waves are really annoying. So you can see here, Stukov has put down his Alexander, his Obelisk, and he's going to start clearing out this side as well. So once this Obelisk is down, he should have cleared up pretty much the direction of his expansion, and now we have a space station reallocation on this side. Space station drops, kills off the Liberator, kills off one of the missile turrets, kills off the command center, and with this explosion takes off 2 refineries over here. So Han Horner has taken up their expansion. I think that might have been a little bit of an overkill. I think it might be much better to use it either for an attack or start pushing it to this side, because as you can see, Stukov does have an army, and it should be the army of infested should be in position. And the only thing I would say is like Stukov should probably move this infested colonist compound towards the central area over here. He already built his command center on this side, so there is some creep for him to utilize as a result. Moving the infested colonist compound towards the center of the map gives you a little bit more reach for your infested, because the infested do have a timer. And usually if your infested colonist compound is on this side, it's very difficult to start moving your infested towards the deeper parts of the mission over here. So now we have another attack wave. Unfortunately, they end up catching that Overlord and picking that off. A few mag mines on this position, really nicely positioned. I think those were the last mag mines that were dropped. Does end up killing off these Vikings, and now all we have is a bunch of Hercules here that unfortunately are not going to be just sitting and harassing Han Horner by just peeking around and seeing what's going on. I don't really know what the AI is doing. There's another drop of mag mines on this side, but I don't think these guys are going to go anywhere near those mag mines, and they're going to start just being very, very annoying, just looking around, just checking stuff out and seeing what's going on. But Hand Horner is having none of that. He uses a call in the fleet, and those Hercules stand no chance against the fleet of cattle bruisers that Hand Horner have. And there we go, those things have been picked off, and now we have the next set of units over here. Now there are a bunch of Vikings that will spawn here. These are again very, very low tech units. They're going to be the standard 1-1 attack wave. I'm actually surprised these Vikings did not land, so they do end up attacking that Raven. I think they will end up picking off that Raven in the process, which means that is the end of Hand Horner's detection. In the early stages of the game it's not too bad, but later on the Air Terran attack waves will start having Banshees, and those Banshees will then start getting their cloak ability. Once they have their cloak, it's very important then to have detection. Detection becomes really, really critical because they don't spawn with 2 Banshees or 3. They have like 5 or 6 Banshees in there, and those things do a lot of damage very, very quickly. And now we have another attack wave that is making its way towards the space over here. Unfortunately, again, there's only one set of mag mines here, and now these Banshees are going to start focusing down this bunker. Just see the amount of damage output these Banshees have, and then down goes that bunker. Those mag mines are going to aggro and does end up killing off pretty much all but 3 of the Banshees. The missile turret will clean up the rest here. There's still a bunch of Marines. We have an infrastructure on the side now, and that will end up taking out these Marines on that side. Again, so far so good. Units lost seem to be more or less normal. There's just one Raven, which kind of stings there for Hand Horner. Hand Horner has taken up their expansion. Still no SCV. Okay, SCV production now has started on this side as well. And I think for the most part, this mission is under control. Let's have a look at the production over here. What is Hand Horner researching? Yeah, they're researching attack upgrades. They're going for their fusion core, which means they probably want to go into a full air army on this side. And I think, yeah, this one, these assault galleon army should be more or less okay. They are flowing a lot of there's a lot of gas that's being floated on Stukov's side, and especially when you're dealing with an air army, you probably want to start making your liberators as quickly as possible, because the liberators are going to be very, very crucial in dealing with the clumps of enemies that they have. Now, I'm not really sure if they have their, what is it called, parasitic cloud? The upgrade that turns the liberators into the little cloud that deals area damage. I don't know if Stukov actually has that ability at level 6. But we'll see what the plan is here for these commanders. We have another bunker, we have another barracks that gets moved towards the central area of the map, which is the other thing I was saying as well. If you are using temporary units, very important to get these your production structures in the center of the map. Just having that central location allows you to get the most value for your units over here. Lava phase has started now at the 11-minute mark. And now we have Molten Cell that has to be addressed here, and he has spawned on this side. So Hand Horner is going to go look at this Molten Cell. He uses a Strike Fire platform, which is an interesting choice, but he has another plan as well. He drops a space station reallocation on this side, and now we have a crystal that has spawned here. But I don't think Hand Horner is paying attention, because there are a bunch of Vikings here that end up picking off. That will end up picking off one of those assault galleons. So that assault galleon ends up going down as a result, and that Molten Cell is not actually going to get killed off by that space station reallocation. It has way too much HP. It's a heroic unit, which means it limits the amount of damage those space station reallocations do. We have an Apocalypse that gets dropped here onto this crystal side, ends up killing off these Vikings, and now the Apocalypse is going to be moved, I'm zooming towards this top and that island over there to just weaken the enemy defenders on this side. So that those 2 crystals have been accounted for. The Apocalypse now will be moving into this side here. Hand Horner is still on here, so I'm not really sure what Hand Horner's plan is, but we'll see here. The Apocalypse now is going to start killing off some of these Goliaths. And I think there are a bunch of Vikings. I think it should be maybe about 3 Vikings on this side that should be as part of the harass wave that comes up with this crystal. But I think that's pretty much it. It should be very easy to deal with. And now we have a bunch of Strike Fire plans, bunch of Strike Fighters that get dropped onto here. But this is an air attack wave, and air attack waves do not get affected by these Strike Fire platforms, so that's going to be a bit of a problem. We have an invest structure that gets dropped onto that missile turret, which ends up splitting the stack with and stalling it a little bit. And now we have another call in the fleet that gets used on here onto half of this attack wave, and unfortunately his Reapers has killed off pretty much everything there, and so this call in the fleet does end up killing off absolutely nothing on this side. And still the infrastructure here onto the missile turret stands pretty much no chance against this bunch of Marines, which I believe will have stim by now, and that is going to be again another attack wave that has been split, and that attack wave will make its way towards the player bases once the lava surge is over. One interesting thing to note about the attack waves is they actually do take damage to the lava. The only units that do not take damage to the lava surge are the mutator units. So propagators and killbots and whatnot, they will not get damaged by lava. But Amon's units can actually be killed off by lava, and if you actually do your timings properly against the drop attacks that come up with Hercules and stuff, you can force them to unload over the lava, and you'll see Amon's units roast to the lava surge that spawns. So that's something interesting you can do if you are actually bored with this. Next set of crystals have spawned now, and now this attack wave will be making its way over here. And now you can see there are just a large number of Banshees on this side, and I don't think Han Horner has realized that there is a Banshee over there because it's still killing off a large number of the Reapers there. And now we have another attack wave here, but this pretty much gets cleaned up by the mag mines that were set up here. Again, there is another set of the mag mines here that will be picking off that side, and I think for now seems to be all okay. But as you can see, large number of Vikings here. These assault galleons now have their hangar bay upgrades as well, which is a really good choice when you're dealing with an air-to-air composition, because that allows these interceptors, I don't know, whatever they're called, these drones, to actually mess with the AI of the enemy units over here. So they end up focusing down the drones rather than the assault galleons, and that keeps your production alive a little bit, especially if you're using them in pushes over here. So one of those assault galleons have gotten picked off by a Hybrid Dominator's Plasma Blast. As you can see here, there is a storm that gets dropped on this Hybrid Dominator, and again another Plasma Blast gets dropped onto this thing, and this is pretty much that. This pretty much brings down this number of assault galleons down to 2. There is still a Widow Mine on this side, I believe, as well, but these things have moved out of the way, I think. But yeah, that Widow Mine might actually end up recharging. And now there is another attack wave that's coming up on this side. Again, they're going to start attacking this battlecruiser. I think this battlecruiser might be okay. There's a Seeker missile onto that Reaper, and that Reaper is in that Reaper actually does end up getting pulled back. But that battlecruiser does end up getting picked off as a result, and now there are a lot of very angry air units that are left as a result of that attack wave that is here. And now Stukov has his Liberators in position, and now he's going to start helping out. That Mr. Third does end up poking some of these Liberators out, but for the most part I think they are able to hold reasonably okay. Still, again, we have another push here for Stukov, and now there is a crystal here that needs to be picked up. And the Bakul is just attacking on this side as well. And now we have another space station reallocation that takes out this command center and this one barracks, which is again an interesting choice because there is an attack wave that was just coming up over here that might have been a better target for the space station reallocation. And we have 3 minutes and 40 seconds left on the timer before the planet goes kaboom. So we have Stukov's Liberators now in position because he's realized this attack wave is going to make a beeline for their base. And this is one of the annoying things about air compositions, is because they make a beeline for the base, they don't really follow the ground pathing. It usually means that they will go straight up here, and this expansion, the expansion on the lower side, is pretty much the worst expansion on this map because it tends to get harassed very frequently. And now we have another set of strike fighters that get dropped onto, again, this attack wave. But this attack wave is an air attack wave and it does no damage. These strike fighters are basically just being wasted against this attack wave now. This attack wave is mad. It's going to be moving up here and it is going to exact its revenge on Han Horner's army, or Han Horner's base right now. Bunch of Liberator siege ups right now, and we're going to have a look at the units lost tab over here. There are a total of 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22 SCVs, 23, 25, 26, 27 SCVs that have just gone completely wiped by this. Total of 29 SCVs have gone down. There is nothing left of Han Horner's base over here. All the SCVs are gone. There is an infest structure here that is, I'm assuming, there to try and stall the Liberators, but that is pretty much it. There is a one Banshee, I think, that is left over here, but that'll end up getting picked off. Again, Sukov's Liberators are in position now, and they end up picking up this side as well. Han Horner is still pushing on this side. Units lost, they've only lost one battlecruiser. A total of 5 assault galleons have been cleared out on here. And now we have just one missile turret that is completely going to end up harassing this mineral line, because anything that moves over here will be picked off. And now, I think, yeah, Han Horner is just going to start pushing in here and just start slowly clear out this side. And I think for the most part, minus the casualties that were faced on here, I think for the most part they are okay. And again, assault galleons are chilling over here now, just waiting for the next lava surge, I think. And we have another set of, again, strike fire platforms with a napalm upgrade. Again, they're not really going to do any damage because all these units are air units, so these strike fires are actually not very effective. And structure-wise, we can see that they've actually built a total of 9 strike fire platforms, which is, again, if you're up against an air composition, even though you do have to push into these enemy bases, usually the strike fires are there to just pick off the enemy units. You don't really need them to take off, the static defenses, or if you want to take off, the production structures here, because Amon doesn't really produce out of these structures at all. So there's not really much of a power level that gets added from having these structures on the map. So usually you want to just deal with some of the more annoying units, some of the high value units. But now, there we go, the next lava surge has ended, and now there are a bunch of banshees on the side, and something gets selected onto this crystal over here. Let's pick up 3 of the 4 banshees, but now I think a lot of these crystals will have their escort wave, and that banshee is going to end up killing off this SCV here. I don't think Stukov has realized that banshee is on this side, and yeah, that SCV is going to get picked off, and now there is another attack wave. As you can see, the attack wave has dropped. Unfortunately, just slightly out of range of those magmites. If those magmites were a little bit closer, he might have been able to get value. But now, this attack wave is over here, and this Liberator Siege is up over here. And I don't think this missile turret is going to be done before this thing comes up. And now, actually, that was a very, very good hit on the Liberators over here. But unfortunately, Liberators do end up getting clumped up and getting hit by that Seeker missile. It does end up weakening a large chunk of them. And now, those 2 crystals have been cleared out as well, and Handhorner is going to start pushing into the side with the army of Assault Galleons, a few Reapers on this side. Again, lots of Napalm strike fires that get dropped. That one is not actually too bad because the Reapers were used to aggro and force those Vikings to land. Again, those Vikings do end up lifting up and in the end, and do end up dodging these strike fires. But again, very nice Magmine positioning there. Does end up connecting with some of those Vikings on the side. And now Handhorner is going to start pushing on the side, but unfortunately, you have to be really, really careful because there are a lot of Widowmines on the side. If that Raven gets picked off, that might be very, very problematic. Another Plasma Blast gets dropped onto this side. I don't know what got hit on this side. I think it was just a Cyclone there. I would have been much better to position it on this side. So again, that was a very interesting usage of the Space Station reallocation. And I think the Apocalypse as well on the front line tanking for the Assault Galleons was what made this thing alive. But now, there is a pincer attack from Amon, and a bunch of battle cruisers on this side and a bunch of battle cruisers on this side. This side is just a terrifying attack, air army over here. Seeker missile onto this Overseer. This Overseer is going to be able to tank this side. And now there is another Seeker missile onto these Liberators, and these Liberators are all clumped up, which is very unfortunate because they are going to take a lot of damage on this side. Focus fire down onto that command center. The Handhorner command center goes down finally, and these Liberators stand no chance against the air army that has a large number of battle cruisers. 3 battle cruisers on this side, 3 and maybe 2 banshees, and a Liberator on this side. So that is Handhorner's base completely cleaned up, and Handhorner needs to go and deal with this, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to do that because there are a bunch of Widowmines, and Handhorner is standing right in the middle of a Widowmine field because he has lost his Raven, which is again going to be a bit of a problem. And he uses the call in the fleet here to try and deal with the remnants of this attack wave. Unfortunately, his base has already been lost. And now, I think, yeah, so there are a lot of Widowmines over here, and I don't think Handhorner has any detection. So if a Widowmine goes off, it might end up wiping out a good chunk of these Reapers over here. You can see there, that's exactly what I mean over there. You have to be really, really careful because there are a lot of Widowmines on this side. Again, another Widowmine here, harassing this side again. You have to be very, very careful because there is no detection. He's going to move through this field. Oh yes, he's so ballsy. He's so ballsy moving through this side because again, there are Widowmines all over this place, I think. Another Banshee on this side. He's got the flying upgrade for the Reapers, but he isn't dealing with that Banshee over here.
SCVs, they're under attack.
Okay, now we have another attack wave over here. Again, some of the Banshees do get picked off by those Magmines, but these Banshees now go into Cloak and they will start harassing Stukov's base here. And Horner does end up cancelling that command center. I would have tried to get away with it, but again, unfortunately there's no defense here, there's no detection. But I think he might have been able to get away with it because the Banshees actually aggroed Stukov's infested from the infested colonist compound. So I think maybe that command center might have survived. Now there are a lot of Banshees over here. Unfortunately, these infested units cannot take out these Banshees because they don't have any guns. Just going to be standing underneath here. And now Stukov is going to move his army towards in position. And the Banshees do go in Cloak, but it doesn't really matter. These Livers are already ready. Now there's another attack wave that's making its way towards the expansion. And I think there are a bunch of Magmines here, so that might actually be okay dealing with this. let's see how... Yeah, there's a good chunk of that attack wave gone, but again, Stukov already in position, though he's able to deal with this, I think, without too many casualties here. And now they have to just get these crystals into location. I think for the most part, I don't think any of these crystals are going to get... Okay, this crystal is going to go away from the lava, which is somewhat unfortunate. But I think the rest of these crystals are going to be safe. They just have to send their SCVs into position and pick up those crystals. And I think that might be the end of the mission as well. Because there are, I think, enough crystals on the map now such that they don't really need the rest of this. So there's Molten Cell finally getting picked off by Han Horner. And now Han Horner is going to start attacking the rest of these structures. Yeah, so this is the initial use of what you can do with these strike fire platforms. We have a set of mag mines that get dropped again over here, but I don't know. I think the mag mines trigger from dealing like when there are structures nearby as well, which is what makes them a little bit less efficient when you drop them behind enemy lines, because they tend to aggro enemy structures a lot. Now we have another attack wave that's moving up towards this side, and Han Horner is going to run through this with a minefield over here, which is again a bit of a problem. A lot of the Reapers do get picked off here. I think they want to try and intercept this attack wave. And again, these infested units unfortunately are not able to deal with the air army, and Han Horner is not actually flying the Reapers, which is an interesting thing because they already have their jetpack overdrive. Okay, there we go. They do that, but now there are a bunch of seeker missiles onto these Reapers, and I think a total of 180 Reapers have died in the course of this game. I think it might even get close to 190 right now. Again, if another attack wave ends up harassing Han Horner's base. Han Horner's still trying to take that base here, but I think at such a late stage of the mission, I think it's pretty much better to just try and focus on getting the rest of these crystals, because the amount of minerals you're going to spend to rebuild your base and then rebuild the SCVs is not really worth it. You're not really going to get that much value out of it. Might be better to just forsake that base now and just focus on getting the objective completed. Another 3 selections of crystals over here. Unfortunately, a little bit too late because these SCVs are going to start moving in here. Oh, no, there's a pullback. And now we have a nuke. But very nice detection here on that base over here. So I think for the most part, I think is basically okay. Stukov lives to fight another day against the new onslaught of nukes that will be coming up now. And again, we have another set of strike fires that get dropped on this side. Again, he's trying to push to this side, and this is one of the uses of the space station, which is actually very useful. So, using them to weaken the bases is pretty much the optimal use of the space station reallocation, because you know, all these enemy units are clumped up over here. We have another call in the fleet as well, which I think is a little bit of an overkill, but for the most part seems to be okay. And now this attack wave decided to harass Stukov's base instead. I think Amon has felt bad for Han Horner and is now going to start working away on Stukov's base here. And I think for the most part, Stukov should be okay because he is able to get this handled. I think there are a lot of Vikings over there though, and these Vikings aren't particularly clumped up. So I think this will be an interesting fight to see. I think Stukov just is able to handle that without too many problems. So again, a few more crystals that are left over here, and now there's another attack wave. Or is that an attack wave or is that a harass wave? I think that's a harass wave for one of the crystals. Again, bunch of strike fires get dropped on here, and again, nothing happens because those things do not deal damage to air units. And now there's 2 minutes left on the timer before the planet goes kaboom, and Han Horner will have to move their army towards this crystal and try and pick that up. there is an SCV over there. 2 SCVs on this side that have not deposited their crystal, and now they have. And now Han Horner is going to go and engage this army as well. And I think they should have enough if they actually float the Reapers and they fly the Reapers. Now this army has been given a command to move towards this camp over here, to move towards the top side of this ramp, because there is a lava surge. But the last crystal has been deposited. This was a complete slugfest. The planet has been saved. That. GG.